Welcome to Why We're Fans. I'm Duran, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Gennaro.
In all of our episodes, we cover the past, present, and the future of all your favorite NFL football teams.
We love hearing your stories, talking the NFL draft, and reminiscing about the good old days.
If you like the same, be sure to subscribe to this channel and like this episode. And leave a comment below if you want to answer any of our questions.
Follow us on Twitter to stay up to date on our latest interviews. And like we always say, win or lose, we're all fans. Enjoy this episode.
And welcome back to another episode of Why We're Fans. It's your host, as always, Gennaro and Duran Munez. Duran, how's it going, man?
Good, man. Always love talking football.
Always, man, always. And, like I said earlier, as soon as I came into the house, our teams, made it exciting last minute wins, which is always good for me. We got a special guest here today. We got a surviving Jets fan, I should say. So, we got Ryan Hammer. Ryan, how's it going, man?
It's good. I appreciate you guys having me on. Surviving is a bare minimum, I guess. I don't even know what to say about it, but I'm alive. You're right. So
brighter days ahead.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, for sure, man. I obviously found you on TikTok, and then I went to followed you on Twitter and whatnot. You do some really good content when it comes to college basketball and breakdowns and whatnot. That's actually when I found out a little bit more about college traditions. That was pretty interesting. I totally forgot about the whole Taylor University Silent Night. I think that's awesome. But
yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. So go ahead and let everybody else know where we can find you and whatnot, and we'll be sure to put your links below.
Yeah, for sure. TikTok and Instagram, I'm at RyanHammer9, and then Twitter, I'm at RyanHammer09. Someone stole my handle. It's a long story, I guess, but it is what it is. But yeah, follow me there, all of them. TikTok's obviously a lot of video stuff, but I'm all over. So
yeah, man, that's what's up. All right, how'd you enjoy the game this weekend?
The Jets game?
Yeah.
Luckily, I was in Arizona, I was barely watching it. I was watching every game other than that. And I was actually watching Kamara more than the Jets. I was more worried about that.
Fantasy.
For fantasy purposes, to slide into the playoffs in a couple leagues. But the Jets, man, like Sunday was brutal. Like I've seen tickets. I usually go to every game. I was away on a trip this weekend, thankfully, because that was probably the most empty and one of the worst games of the last couple of years or few years. So it's just painful, man. Like it is. There's bright spots every now and then, but even those bright spots get taken away. Like Carter wasn't playing. Elijah Moore's probably done for the season at this point, shut down. Even Corey Davis, who hasn't been good, is not playing anymore. It's just like it's rough. There are bright spots, like I said. It's a good time at the games at least, but kind of is what it is.
Yeah, for sure.
I just want to let me jump in real quick.
Okay.
We gotta say rest in peace to Damarius Thomas. He was also a Jet. That was his last team he played with. But come on, amazing player. Let's talk about fantasy. There was a stretch of like 5 years where he put up 1,000 yards consecutively. And yep, he's a dominant player, man. Rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace, DT. I don't know if you guys saw it, but when I think it was Simmons who intercepted it, he went ahead and placed the ball in the 88 that they had there.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was a real special moment.
Wow.
I definitely like that guy coming out of Georgia Tech and seeing him blossom and everything. He was just everyone's just seems like, man, he lit up the room. He just has a big smile on his face. So seemed like a good pro, good person as well.
I think their last drive was 88 yards, their touchdown drive or something like that.
Wow.
Wow.
One of those strange things that and they scored on it too. And that's just one of those strange facts, I guess.
Yeah. And I just found out today, just looking online, there's still a little bit of Damarius Thomas on the Jets right now. Nasruddin, the DB. That was the pick that you guys traded with the Patriots for that. So still there.
Damn, that's wild. Yeah.
He's got to live up to. I was thinking, imagine being that guy and being like, dude, I'm the pick that Damarius Thomas was traded for. So
man,
a little bit of good pressure for him.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, we brought you on to ask you a few questions, get to know you a little bit better. So first things first, man, how did it all start? How did you become part of the Jets fandom.
Oof. I got two older brothers, and my dad around, and they like my older brothers are 5 and 8 years older than me. So like when I can remember anything, they were obviously thriving in their lives, and sports were huge. We're from New Jersey, born and raised in New Jersey. My dad's from New York, so it's one of those simple stories of being local and stuff like that. And I've been a Jets fan ever since I can remember, wearing green, like Chad Pennington days, even barely. It's probably what I remember earliest as of now, at least what I can recall. But Chad Pennington days, and then through Mark Sanchez, all that stuff. But through and through, local guy in New Jersey. So
you had no choice.
I literally had no choice. And I like my dad raised me a Jets fan, a Mets fan. Like, it's rough out here.
Oh, Jets and Mets. Wow. Okay. That's interesting. I mean, usually I've met a couple Jets fans. It's Jets and Yankees, and we always bond on the Yankees because I'm a Yankees fan myself. But yeah, man, it's Jets and Mets.
And I never find, like, I've tried so many times in the past few years to figure out New Jersey and Long Island, I guess, New York, like where the splits are. If like this area is Jets and Yankees, this area is Jets and Mets. Like, I think there's trends and like influences in most parts, but I don't think it's ever concrete, and like it's really hard to figure out. But yeah,
definitely. So dad and older brothers kind of led you into being a Jets fan. Is there anybody before dad or what?
Football wise, not really, just kind of with him. I'm not really sure how. I think he got into it just with like friends and stuff and being in the area, and just he liked the sport and stuff. And the team was good when he was born. So when he was born, they were born a Super Bowl a few years later. So Joe Namath and stuff like that, it was easy to like them. I guess. So it made sense for him to like them. So then he just fell in love with them. So
that's awesome, man. Especially being around that time, because Joe Namath, that's when football was just like kind of like baseball. They didn't give a fuck. Smoke cigarettes on the sidelines, wearing fur coats and shit. They didn't really care. They didn't really have, I guess, etiquette is the right thing. But it's pretty cool time. I always look back and look at those, old hits and whatnot. I'm like, damn, people wouldn't be surviving. But
yeah, 100%.
I know you mentioned it earlier that usually you go to the games. Are you a season ticket holder?
Sadly, I am. I have been for years now. I've come to the point, like you have your own, like when you obviously go to school and whatever, when you become your own adult, move out and like make your own money, you pay for your own ticket. I've just started doing that in the last couple of years, and that has it's become even more apparent to me how much of, maybe I'm wasting my money, but maybe I'm not. But no, yeah, it's still a good time. But I am a season ticket holder.
Yeah, nice. Man, I mean, it's your passion, man. Like if housing and everything like that wasn't so expensive at California, maybe I'd be a season ticket holder for the 49ers. But I'm kind of a homer in a way where I like to watch it, with a group of friends at the house and whatnot, that environment. But yeah, do you remember your first game that you went to?
My first game I went to, I think the first game I could think of, not the first game I went to, but one of my first memories of them was, I forget what year it was, in the 2000s. It was like a Thursday night game against the Vikings, I think it was. It was like ice cold, thunderstorm, lightning, and raining. Thursday night game. I went, there was delays for like 90 minutes to 100 minutes. It was miserable. And the game ended like 9-6 or something, like some weird score like that. I don't know exactly what the parameters around it was, but it was awful. I'm pretty sure Brett Favre was in the Jets at the point, actually. That was like his one season against the Vikings, where he used to play there too. And like, it's all these things. And, but I think that's the earliest I ever remember. And I was probably like a sub 10 at that time. So,
yeah. Wow. Damn. So fuck, I can't even imagine watching that game. You're wanting your offense to do something, but knowing it's so hard, being that it's snowing and whatnot. So that's got to be brutal, especially.
Yeah, definitely brutal. I think the only other one is probably a couple years after. I think Thursday night or Thanksgiving is the Patriots. We lost by like 40, and Vince Wilfork was just having an absolute field day in the interview with the turkey leg after. And I was like, oh shit, this sucks, dude. Like, this is on Thanksgiving too. It was just awful, absolutely miserable.
Damn.
Growing up in the area, did you ever get a chance to go to training camp?
I have a couple times. I actually, I feel like I should be going more than, like, I live in New Jersey too, especially. It makes it so much easier, and I should have gone more than I have in the past. I've gone a couple times, not in the last few years, but I definitely need to get back. I'll tell you that much.
Do you ever remember a player standing out to you in training camp, whether it's like a rookie just showing out or a big ass lineman or something like that?
Yeah, I think personality-wise, the one time I went recently, Jamal Adams. He
okay.
like huge personality.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't want to talk about him, but
Yeah.
he's doing good for us. We're getting a really good draft pick right as of
Yep.
now because of
Oh,
him.
yeah.
So, but yeah, his personality was very vibrant, and he's obviously a good player and was incredible in the Jets. He's still kind of whatever, but and then Darrell Rivas when in
Oh,
terms of
yeah.
on the field.
Mhm.
Obviously Reeves Island, like Hall of Famer, one of the best corners ever, and he definitely my favorite Jet, probably favorite player of all time. But watching him in training camp, like the man is just absolutely unbelievable, like methodical, especially against his own teammates. It's so much fun to watch. He just
Mhm.
tears down his own teammates. So
I bet that had been awesome. I mean, watching Darrell Rivas going 1-to-1, like iron sharpens iron. Like you're only gonna learn from the best. I bet all the younger receivers even would go up to him and be like, "Hey, man, like you're doing this. What do you see? What can I do better? What does a cornerback like you expect?" And that's eventually how they would get better. And his counterpart too with Cromartie, that had been
yeah,
awesome.
I actually used to love Cromartie too because he was a kick returner also. He was
Yeah.
quick, like he can move. And that's how I used to play like sports, like quick. And I used to be tiny, but I used to be just fast. And so Cromartie was another fan favorite of mine. But I used to remember Brandon Marshall was on the Jets too for a few years. He used to talk all the time about him and Rivas going head to head against each other. And I was like, I can imagine what y'all say to each other in practice all the time. So
I've heard those stories.
But
exactly.
do you remember your first jersey that you got or a piece of apparel?
I've definitely had a ton. I still have a lot of jerseys that I just can't wear anymore. Chad Pennington jersey I've definitely had before. I definitely had a Revis jersey when I was a young kid. And when LT came to the Jets for a couple of years, I actually got an LT powder blue jersey because of that.
There you go.
And I mean that's the best jersey possible. So
he wore the
that's one of
ugly
them.
ass face mask with you guys too. He wore like that,
He did.
boring. I hated that face mask, but I loved LT. Speaking
Exactly.
of fantasy earlier, like man, fantasy cheat code right there.
Oh, yeah.
He did get a Jets tattoo though.
What's
He
I
that?
didn't know that.
Yeah, he has a Chargers tattoo on one leg and Jets tattoo on the other leg. Yes.
Wow.
He's got both. We don't get many season ticket holders on here, so I'm going to ask you if we were to go out visit MetLife for a game, have any advice? Where do we park? Where do we sit? Where do we eat?
Yeah. Yeah. In terms of at the game itself, there's like two sections. Basically, you either get a green lot or a gold lot. The gold lots are cheaper and they're better. There's more people, better parties and stuff like that. Tailgates. J9 is personally where I tailgate, so that's obviously where I'm gonna say you got to go J9.
Yeah.
It's also easy to get out. We park all the way on the side by the
Beautiful.
Giants trading facility, so that we can swoop out of there onto the highway right there. So, eating inside, the food's not electric, not great by any means, but I usually I don't eat a ton inside. We tailgate a ton outside, but I like to just get a classic sausage and peppers at the old Premio stand. So,
well, if we're joining you in tailgate, man, what are you throwing on the grill for us, man? What's going on? What's in the ice
we have
chest?
a huge tailgate. We do like a 40, 50 person tailgate. So the menu is decided like a week ahead, usually, depending on where we're playing. So like if we're doing the Dolphins, might do some kind of Cuban food. If we're playing the Patriots, might have like clam chowder we've had before. We always have wings, obviously always have wings.
Got it.
If I had the choice, I would like to do sausage and pepper sandwiches. I keep saying, I said it twice now. That's a good, that's a favorite for tailgating. It's easy too. It's that easy.
Yeah.
Or steak sandwiches. That'd be nice. And then probably it's just a bunch of drinks obviously flowing. So
if you guys are playing the Cowboys, my cousin right there, he's a Cowboys fan, obviously. What's going on the grill?
I've never been to Dallas. I would imagine some kind of barbecue. Is that right?
The barbecue. I was just there on Thanksgiving. The barbecue was off the hook.
Yeah.
So I would recommend if you're playing Kansas City or Dallas, they both love their barbecue. So start barbecuing it up. Some ribs, some brisket.
Can you guys tell that I'm hungry, man? I'm like,
my stomach grill. Seriously, oh my god.
But that's great, man. That's one thing that me and Duran, like we have it on our bucket list of different stadiums to visit, and that's honestly on one of top of mind. How it all started with Hard Knocks. We can get in that later on and everything. But yeah, man. Duran, you got anything else in this section or?
Oh, just one more. What's the memorabilia looking like? Do you have any signed stuff, signed jerseys, footballs?
Of Jet stuff?
Anything. Yeah.
Yeah, the jet stuff is probably minimum sign stuff anymore. That I not that much. I have one thing that's showing right here. It's actually not. It's a nice little Justin Herbert signed helmet. I like that one.
Oh,
okay.
wow. Yeah.
That's one of my favorites. I'm a big card collector also, so I have a ton of stuff in these boxes and autograph cards. I'm a big Michael Carter collector now because I love running backs and that's my guy. So I have a bunch of his stuff too.
Yeah, I loved him and Javonte, man, so much. I wanted the Niners to get one of them, and I think Javonte was on my top list. But yeah, man.
Well, you guys traded up for Trey Sermon, and it's okay. You don't use him. That's fine.
I know it's pissing me off, man. You're Peaches a crier.
I'm ready to move on, G.
All right, yeah, for sure. So before you say it, me and Duran like to guess. We want to know your favorite Jets player, of all time. Current, past, that's what we do. So Duran, I'm gonna go ahead and let you go first.
I like the guys that are pretty much fans but on the team. I feel like Darrell Rivas was a little bit of a journeyman, so I'm gonna go with Nick Mangold.
Ooh, okay. Oh man, like I originally was gonna say Wayne Corbett, but he said he loves running backs, so I'm gonna go with Curtis Martin.
Both very good guesses. And to be fair, there's only so many Jets players that are people's favorites. Although some people have like a weird knack for it, right?
Yeah.
Mangold, the legend, hard not to like him. He actually always chills. So Joe Klecko owns a bar near me. So Mangold has been there before. It's the whole thing. Mangold is not my favorite. Neither actually are. It is Darrell Rivas. He has been a journeyman, and I don't like those Patriots days, obviously. But man, I love to watch him play. I always used to really appreciate corners also because I was tiny and fast. I wouldn't, if I ever really, really played football, I'd never be able to play receiver, maybe a little slot guy or something like that. But corner I was always mesmerized by what he was doing. And when the team was good, the defense was driving those two AFC championships, and it was Rivas Island. That was his prime. I think it was 10-11 or 11-12 those couple of years. So I always loved watching him then. So he's definitely my favorite all time.
Yeah, he's alumni from Pitt, and we got to see a couple of Pitt guys go out against each other last night with Connor and Aaron Donald. But man, watching Rivas play, it's weird. It's kind of like a weird comparison, but I felt like he was Joe Thomas of corners because he wasn't flashy, or he didn't really talk a lot until his later years, Richard Sherman did. But he was just so technically sound that he didn't really have to do much. He just had to follow you. And I loved it. I appreciated it so much. And, as an opposing team, obviously you'd always hate to go against them, but man.
Yeah. I always have to say, whenever we talk about Darrell Rivas, go on YouTube. He has lockdown compilations. He has one versus Randy Moss, Calvin Johnson, Reggie Wayne, Ocho Cinco, Des Bryant, Julio Jones, T.O., Steve Smith, Andre Johnson, A.J. Green. Those are some legends in the game.
That list is crazy.
And if you look, he has whole games where he shut these guys out, which is just, he's not the biggest guy. And when you see him next to a guy like Calvin Johnson or something, it's very impressive.
That's exactly where my appreciation really comes from. And like you said before, not flashy either or big, and he didn't talk that much. And even technically sound like he was. But you watch guys like Jalen Ramsey and stuff now, and those guys, you can tell how their training works so well and their footwork and stuff. And Darrell Rivas just saw it, but never as mechanically sound as these guys you really, really hone on now. I feel like, but he's always getting the job done, man. He was always so good. So,
and he has an island named after him.
Oh, yeah. Is there a Darrell Rivas moment that stands out to you the most?
It was definitely the Megatron game when they played Calvin Johnson. Because I Calvin Johnson to me is one of the most dominant players I've ever watched and ever game football. And watching him do being able to hold Calvin Johnson. I remember not even caring. I don't even remember if the Jets won the game. I have no idea actually. I just remember watching that matchup the entire game and being I cannot believe he's doing this to Calvin Johnson.
Yeah.
Prime Calvin Johnson, prime Randy Moss. Who would you want on your team?
My team is different than who's better. I feel like Randy Moss is more useful on a roster. I'll take prime Randy Moss.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's hard. It's hard for me, but I would go Randy. Randy's my favorite player of all time. So
okay, unbiased. You'll take Randy then.
That game where Darrell Rivas played Calvin Johnson, it was in 2010, and he held him at 13 yards.
Yeah, I can't imagine if Calvin Johnson ever played a full game and had anything less than that.
Yeah, I know.
So
just amazing. But you said how he's kind of low key. He was never like a big showboat or anything on the field. But if you look at how he, placed himself with these teams and contract situation, he's made more money than 99%, pretty much more than any non-quarterback in the NFL. It's like the way he went around and picked up his deals and, did 1-year deals and 3 and just kept hitting the free agency. I hope Dak doesn't do that because it kind of seems like he's headed that way.
I mean, if you think about it, Darrell Rivas is before his time because you see a lot of players doing it nowadays. Like, 1-year deals. And
he always made the right decision. It seemed like he always went to the scheme and everything that fit him perfectly.
Yeah.
Are there any underrated players that played for the Jets that you feel like need a shout out? G mentioned Wayne Corbett.
Yeah, Wayne Corbett is definitely a legend. I feel like the Jets legends that are like that everyone knows about. Corbett's a good example. Is that like they do get the recognition they deserve because there's not so many. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Underrated. I always thought Jericho Cotchery was really underrated as a receiver. I just never got talked about. Like we were in and out of having guys like Brandon Marshall. It's a good one because like past his prime, but still Brandon Marshall and like was very good. So I think Jericho Cotchery never got the love he got. I want to say I keep going to receivers in my mind. I'm not sure. Oh, Jim Leonard also safety.
Okay.
Little guy. I used to love Jim Leonard. He was awesome. He played with a ton of grit, a ton of strength and good work ethic. So I used to love him, and I don't think he ever got enough love at least. So
yeah.
I had a list of wide receivers on here: Wayne Corbett, Keyshawn, Lavernius Coles, Santana Moss, Jericho Cotchery, and Braylon Edwards, who some people cringe when you bring up Braylon. I know the Browns fans do.
Yeah.
I'm a fan. I'm definitely a fan.
Yeah.
Jim Leonard, he's a DC for Wisconsin now.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's crazy because I remember watching. They're in a Big Ten game, and I grew up being a wrestler, so I always followed Big Ten sports. Period, even though I'm a Texas fan. But so I was watching. I think it was Wisconsin versus Ohio State because my brother-in-law is an Ohio State fan, and I was like, "Damn, like Jim Leonard's calling a good game." And I was like, "Oh, too late," because I think C.J. Stroud went off on him. But it was crazy. Jim Leonard being a DC. I was like, "Damn, I watched this guy in Hard Knocks. What the hell?"
I'm gonna share my family right after this. Right after.
Anything else for players, G?
Is there somebody on the team that you actually thought that was a waste? Like, why the fuck is he on my team? Like
now or all time?
Yeah. What's that?
You said now or all time?
Oh.
Either or.
Actually, I don't want to trash anyone now. It's not. I don't really care.
Come on, dude. You can do it now.
Well, there's a lot of guys like now. Obviously, I don't know. I don't think Denzel Mims now. He's literally a sophomore receiver. I legitimately think he's bad. Like he's not a good player. I watched every single snap of the Jets games this year, aside from this past Sunday. But when I did, Denzel Mims dropping the ball. Denzel Mims not running around, not making a block. And I don't think everyone wants him to get traded or like getting his chance. I don't think it's there for him. I don't think it's going to happen. With our team on the Jets, if you're not getting your chances on the Jets and creating your opportunities, like it's not going to happen anywhere else. It's that simple.
Get him out.
So I don't like it is kind of is what it is with him all time. I never really hated players. I never really had especially when I was younger, I kind of just like was having a good time and focused on the guys I like more than now. And like I said, now the last few years, there's so many guys where I'm just like, I mean, these guys are a waste of time. Actually, when we drafted Christian Hackenberg, I wanted to hurt myself. I was like, I hate Penn State, first of all. So that's one thing.
Okay.
And second, I knew he wasn't good. I watched him in college, and I was young too. I'm like, this guy's not going to be good in the NFL. Like, he's just not good. We second round draft pick, and he's gone after 3 years. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I never got the hype. Like I saw him play, and I was like, what? Why is this guy being talked about? Like he's not that great. Like he had great receivers. I mean, he had Godwin. I think he had Robinson, but he wasn't great. Like he wasn't anything good. You know what I mean? I think Godwin was actually with Godwin wasn't with him. I think Robinson was with him. Like,
yeah, I guess that makes sense. Maybe right after it, yeah. But Hackenberg just like, it was just a recipe for disaster. It was never going to work. We never had a good system for a quarterback anyway, obviously, for years. But it doesn't matter when you're bad. Like it doesn't. You'll be bad in anywhere. So
yeah. That's. I mean, quarterbacks. I think that gets the most hate. And mine was Blaine Gabbert. I hated when he was on my team. Wasn't a big fan of him. Never thought that he was anything great. And at Mizzou, and yeah.
Now you guys got Mike White. He was
he
a Cowboy.
First round draft pick. He said
he was a Cowboy.
He was, yeah. I do think he deserved like a quick tidbit on. I guess I do think he deserved another start. He had that really shitty game. He had one really good game. Got hurt and was playing well against the Colts on Thursday night. And he didn't play. And then he played a shitty game the next game and he was done.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that is such a cutthroat way to run backup quarterbacks on a team that doesn't need to win right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought let him ride until Zach is back, unless he has like 2-3 eternally bad games in a row. If he would have had another one of those 4-pick games, fine. Let Joe Flacco start. But what does Joe Flacco start and get us? Literally gets us nowhere.
Yeah.
He's not any better than Mike White. And so it offers us nothing. Zero. So
nothing for the future. Nothing for the future. No one's going to trade for Flacco. I don't know how long Mike White's under contract, but that could possibly be something. But yeah, I agree.
Yeah, agreed, man. Because watching Zach Wilson, I was a big fan of him coming out in the draft. But, the one thing that I didn't really see him do all that much is make his, check down progressions. He wanted the big play, he wanted the show me play. And you see Mike White coming, he goes, he's making all these check down plays and letting his players do the work. And they're working. It's like, okay, like it's working really well, especially in that system, that LaFleur system.
The Niners guys.
Yeah, he came from Shanahan. The McVay system, it goes on and on, Kubiak. But it's watching it and I was like, okay, like he's gonna progress, but he wants to go to the big show play and it's biting him in the ass in the pros. It's a lot different than BYU, my guy.
Yeah, and they definitely made it easier for Mike White, like when he started, because they were like, we know what you can and can't do, so we're not going to make you do anything you can't do. Yeah. Whereas Zach, they gave too much freedom early on in the season to like do whatever you want, make those home run passes, and he still is in a sense, but they've been doing made it a lot more lot simpler. He started off 0-5 and 2 touchdowns, 7 picks in his first 5 starts, and now he's been, I think he's 2-3 now or something like that in his last 5 starts.
Yeah.
Even touchdown interception balance, and he's just playing a lot better because it's just scripted for him to play better. He's still not playing great, but he's playing well. So, or okay, at least.
Yep. Let's move on a little bit. G, next up, we want to know who your favorite Jets head coach of all time is.
I liked Rex Ryan until the recent Robert Saleh remarks. As a coach, Rex Ryan for sure. The internet. He was awesome. Just the energy he brought all the time.
Mm-hmm.
We had Hard Knocks that one year, so that's what it made it so much easier to like guys on the team and the coaching staff.
Fucking snack, huh, boys?
Exactly, like shit like that. I'm like, oh man, like how can you not like this guy? He's a big dude too.
Mm-hmm.
But then I started learning, he said the thing about Robert Saleh recently, and he made it a personal problem. He didn't have to. He could have said as a Jets coach, I disagree with this, do that, whatever, with a lot of passion. But he said this is personal for me. Shut the fuck up, Rex Ryan. So annoying. And then all the toe stuff he's been on recently. I know it's a forever thing, but he talks about it on ESPN. Be quiet, don't do that. But as a coach, Rex Ryan.
To get on the right foot here, I would say Rex Ryan for sure. Rex, he's the most memorable coach. You know what I mean? He had not only was he big, but he had a big personality as well. And I think that's what got him noticed, and especially him being he was a defensive coordinator for the Ravens, and he was around a fucking great defense over there at Baltimore, and he brought over Bart Scott with him. So man. Yeah, he had a big personality, good defensive minded coach. I always lean towards defensive minded coach as well.
Yeah. I think that's a good answer. I just felt like he fit the Jets, especially back then. Just New York, he could handle the media. He wasn't scared. He was kind of a loud guy. It's he was perfect there. And like you said, the Sanchez days, it was kind of going pretty smooth. You guys were winning some games back then. So
we're winning because of the offense.
The defense.
That defense was scary, man. Fuck that. It was fast. It's funny because I mean, I was a huge fan of Cromartie, like wherever he went, and seeing him. Like I remember watching the Hard Knocks. He's like, "Oh yeah, I got 10 kids." And he started naming them all off.
Yeah.
But watching like them all play, not his kids play, watching them all play on Jets defense, they were all so quick to the ball. Like even Bart Scott, like towards his older years, maybe not much, but man, they were all super fast to the ball. They all surrounded, whoever had it. I wasn't too sure. Was Wilkerson on that team?
I think at the latter end, he might have been. I was just thinking about it. It's funny you said that. Like another guy that a great pass rusher, quick for his size too, and like he was lethal. Sad to his career dropped off once he went to the Packers, I think, but kind of is what it is.
Yep. Do you have a least favorite coach of all time?
Man, it's been like 6 in the last like 10 years. Todd Bowles was the worst, and he succeeds now, and like he can be a good D coordinator. That's fine. Like I get that it happens all the time. But when I like Adam Gase is the worst. Man, this is tough.
Gase.
Todd Bowles just like the problem was he never had any emotion on the sideline about anything. Never yelled, never said a word, never smiled when we went. Like absolutely nothing happened, and I'm like, what? How is this like? How does he have a job like this? Made no sense to me. They went through so many interviews, and they said, like, I'm just so confused how what they saw in him for head coaching spot. And Adam Gase is not even to be spoken of, I guess, because like that guy's a moron. So
yeah, we just had a Lions fan, and he said the exact same thing about Jim Caldwell, like zero emotion, zero anything. Like he had a big play, just look at his play sheet, and that's how Todd Bowles was, and that's how he is. Like he's still like that, like no emotion, no nothing. Like come up with a big play on defense, he's like, okay, on to the next one. You know what I mean? Like some people respect that, but some people want like emotion. Like I've seen it with the recent coach right now with Rob Salah, man. Like he's headbutting his own teammate, like his own team. Like I love it, fucking great. And then you go to someone like Bowles is dull, flat.
Right. Because like when we have all these coaches that don't scheme up well anyway, like Salah is a first-time coach, so he's gonna have his mistakes, and there's been a lot of them, and it's gonna keep growing pains. Yeah. But like the energy and work rate and stuff and passion is something that you can bring. Anyone can bring. Doesn't matter who you are, how good you are as a coach. And the man is running. I know he's always done this apparently, but he does his stairs before every game in the stadium. Yeah. Like you said, I always said since when we got him, I'm pretty sure he could tackle people better than some of our linebackers. He would just go on the field and hit somebody, and I would love to see that. So
yeah, it's awesome, man. Like I have so much respect for the guy, and watching like the Jets, the Lions, the Jags, you can tell who's playing for their coach. You can tell who's playing for the name on their back. You know what I mean? And you can tell who's not. You know what I mean? Out of the three, I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say who, but
Jags. I'll say it. Yeah, they've given up. They're done.
Yeah, I mean they're definitely done. But yeah, man, like you see, the Jets, like they, they're playing for their, they're playing for the coach, they're playing for the team, they're playing for each other, and yeah, they're all super young. I think that coaching staff is super young too, rookie play caller and whatnot. So, I'm hoping for the best for them because I have so much respect for, that coaching staff. Obviously, a lot of them came for the 49ers, and I loved it, and I hated them seeing them go. But I wish nothing but the best for him. Like I like Robert Salah. I mean, it was hard for him in the beginning because he didn't really have the right tools. But seeing like him grow, as defense coordinator and now as a head coach, nothing but love for you, man.
Yeah, and he's got a big New York connection to that too. His brother was like when 9/11, he was like in the city or at one of the buildings and stuff like that. And I'm not sure how it was, but he's alive, God bless. But he has a big connection to New York and like a huge passion for the city too, which is a huge part for the fans, and like everyone loved him from the start. So that's really good.
Yeah, his brother even got on Rex Ryan about going after his brother, and I think a lot of New York got behind his brother. We're like, yeah, dude. Fuck you, Ryan.
Seriously.
What the hell are you doing?
Seriously.
Shit. Yep. Well, let's move on a little bit more. Do you have a favorite memory being a Jets fan? I know you guys don't have a Super Bowl in recent history, but a classic game, maybe a game that you attended, anything like that?
Definitely not when I attended when I went to New England though in the playoffs, one of those runs. And The game itself was great. Returning, I think Cromartie started returning an onside kick at the end of the game, and afterward, Bart Scott with the classic. They said, "See you in Pittsburgh," and he said, "Can't wait, can't wait."
Yep.
That's like easily the best moment I can remember. So,
yeah, I love that. I can't remember the reporter's name, but I remember him being so pissed off. He's saying like, they got 25th. They got 25th in the league. They can't stop a nosebleed, man. And like he's just going off. I'm like, dude, let him have it. Like these guys were the monkey on your back for so long and ripped it off.
Right.
And he comes in flying like a jet. And man, like that's a loudmouth guy. He was definitely a Rex Ryan guy for sure.
Oh, yeah.
And he backed it up. He had a great game that game as well. So
yeah.
Was that the Foxborough revenge game?
I think,
or was that a different game? Because I see here 2011 Jets versus Patriots is called the Foxborough Revenge.
Yeah.
It was Gronk's first playoff game, and it was Sanchez, LaDainian Tomlinson, Braylon Edwards versus Brady, Gronk, Wes Welker. Sanchez became the second quarterback in NFL history to win a conference championship in 2 years.
Yeah, he did his rookie and sophomore season. Yep. People forget that, like, they just remember butt fumble, whatever. Like, it's one play, and yes, his career was not great, especially in the latter end. But he was like good enough to run an AFC Championship level offense. And it's not like when the Jags went to the AFC Championship that 1 year a few years ago. It's similar to that, but we did 2 years in a row. Like the team was legitimately good, so it's not like it wasn't a fluke. So
yeah. You guys had some solid pros on the offense, like solid veterans that like knew the NFL, knew the business, and they're ready to help out their young quarterback.
Yep.
Exactly.
Speaking of the butt fumble, do you have a worse memory being a Jets fan? Because I don't think that's the worst one. I always think that was blown out of proportion, but
I agree. The Thanksgiving game I mentioned before is the worst. Like just the idea of it was like I think it was like a 40-point win, something like that. That was really bad one. Last year was pretty brutal where like we're supposed to get Trevor Lawrence, the number one pick, and we beat the freaking Rams, who are one of the best teams one of the better teams in the league. I'm like, what we can't even lose to teams that are good. Like, I'm so confused. That's probably not up there, although like, do I think Trevor Lawrence could be better in a different situation? Obviously, but it's still a rough one. I think the Thanksgiving one, the butt fumbles is just annoying, I think.
Yeah.
Just because people talk about it so much, and that's what makes it bad. It's not the actual thing. Like I never really understood the whole. It's funny, but I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah. I always say because the Cowboys play on Thanksgiving every year. It's the curse of playing on Thanksgiving. Everyone is watching. It's non-football fans. It's old ladies. It's your little sister. It's all people that usually don't watch football are watching this 1 week. And you do something like that, then everyone's going to remember it.
Good point.
It's the big stage. Yep. It's the big stage. What hurt more when Rivas left to get paid or the whole Jamal Adams extension / trade stuff?
Probably the Rivas part because of like we had success and I thought we were still there, kind of there, but like we weren't. I don't know. That was painful. Just because you're going to the Patriots and stuff like that. That's obviously not good. Jamal Adams stuff, like he's just kind of a twat. Like he wants his contract, he's not getting paid, and the Jets were literally ready to pay him. They were trying to pay him, and then he just went to a winning team without the contract being settled. That's what pisses me off. He's getting his karma because they suck, and he sucks to an extent. I'm just gonna say he's bad. He's good at nothing because I'm gonna believe that, even though it's probably not entirely true. But I would say that the Rivas stuff is probably a little worse for sure.
Yeah, at least you got 2 draft picks for Jamal leaving.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think they definitely overpaid for Jamal Adams. Like I was like, yeah, I'll take Jamal Adams for like a 3rd, 4th round pick. You know what I mean? And when I saw that, and I was like, wow, they overpaid him. And then the contract he got, I was like, okay, like that's gonna bite you in the ass. And I don't like to see a player get hurt, but hey, man, he got hurt.
Yeah, it's tough. Like he was so good at the Jets, I think, because he was allowed to just do it. He had to do everything. And on the Seahawks, like when you have to fit into a certain spot and scheme for a team that's already been set up, like it definitely is tough. I do think he'll figure it out. Like I think he is a good player. Like he obviously is. He wouldn't have gotten paid all that if he was terrible. But we'll see with him, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, he's playing a little bit soft this year. I mean, even prior to year 4. I mean, he's not playing right now this year. I mean, hopefully he gets better, heal up. We want you at your best, but I mean, he's nothing's, game plan around.
Yeah.
That's
You guys had some first round defensive linemen that kind of didn't work out as well as I remember when they were coming out. Who were you most hyped for? Leonard Williams out of USC, Quentin Coples out of North Carolina. Yep. And then Sheldon Richardson.
They all honestly had bright spots on the Jets. I was most excited for Leonard Williams because I was learning about his personality more than the others. And like socially, even on like social media and like with the team and interviews and stuff, like he was very like a vibrant personality. He still is. And like he was actually pretty good for the Jets. Quinn Coples, probably the most disappointed, I guess. I don't know. That's kind of what it is.
Yeah.
I always remember him. He was like strong. He was decent, but like just never panned out. He has these branded on his shoulder too.
The horseshoes.
That's the only thing I remember about him. So that's a problem.
He has the double horseshoes on his arm. But yeah, I remember. It sucks to say for him, but I remember him being a college player way more than an NFL player. So I think he had a lot of hype coming out. He was picked 16th overall, but he never worked out. He was kind of one of those lankier players that just, couldn't make the jump. Yeah. Last one for worst memory. What about Gino getting punched out in the locker room?
And people don't realize that he was our starting quarterback.
Yeah.
Until that happened. They literally don't realize that. And he wasn't like terrible when he was playing. And then going in the offseason, this happens. And I don't know if you guys know the story about it. It's because he didn't pay like a $500 plane ticket. He didn't pay $500 back to one of his teammates who got punched by for a plane ticket. And because he quote unquote forgot, whether he did or not, forgot to pay, he got dropped in practice. And I'm like, well, either one, you should pay for it, and two, why can't you all just talk about it and figure it out?
Yeah. You guys are pros. You guys getting paid millions of dollars.
Like crazy to me, crazy. But that's awful. That was bad. Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't Rex Ryan pick up that guy that punched him too, like the next week?
He did something. Yeah. He did.
Yeah, I think he's
no surprise.
I don't even know the guy's name, but that's just something that's never happened in the NFL before. A starting quarterback getting punched out in the Well, let's move on to a little bit brighter days. You guys, we want to talk about your future expectations, and you guys just had a pretty big draft, 2 first rounders. And I felt like, the guys that were drafted in the first 4 rounds have got some decent playing time. Zach Wilson, Vera Tucker, Elijah Moore, Michael Carter, who I know you like, but which one has impressed you the most?
Elijah in the latter end of the season, he's flashy, obviously. Like everyone would say that, but Elijah Vera Tucker, there's 2 Elijahs. I should have said Elijah Moore, so you know what I meant. But Elijah Vera Tucker has been consistently brilliant. Like he's been unbelievable. One of the better offensive linemen behind like Creed Humphrey, I guess, and a couple other rookies. But he has been fantastic. Having him, and when Becton is back, if he's in fitness, if he's fit or in shape, I hope. But having those 2 next to each other will be excellent on Zach's blind side, because obviously Zach is a guy I think who needs blindside help more than most quarterbacks with how he likes to move around the pocket and outside. But Elijah Vera Tucker has been absolutely amazing in my opinion, and he's an offensive lineman, so he's not going to get a lot of love, and that's how it is. But he's been great. So
no, and he's played 100% of the snaps this year, so very valuable piece on the interior line.
Yeah, I did think he wasn't gonna fall anywhere near where we traded up to get him. I think it was 15 or something like that, or 16, 17. I thought he was gonna be top. I was about to say lottery. I'm like, that's the wrong sport. But top 12 or like 13 pick for sure. He just kept going, and then I saw the Jets trade up, and we knew they were taking him. Like, oh great, he's on the board. Might as well go get him.
Yep. What about the secondary guys? You got Sherwood, Carter, Pinnock, Nazardine, and Eccles. You guys really hit it. Was it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row went for the secondary? Has one of those guys stood out to you?
Out of those guys, it's tough. Nothing. No one really stands out. Eccles, I feel stands out for some bad moments more than others. I think what I appreciate about them all is that, like, it's more about the coaching staff. They've just schemed them up in a really good way to make them work at times. They've been pretty bad at times too, but for the most part, like the earlier part of the season, even we were losing every game, like pretty bad sometimes. The Jets defense and the passing defense is actually pretty good. Bryce Hall, who's not in that draft, he's another year, but he's actually been very good, like for the most part. So seeing potential in these guys that could take in second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth round, that are supposed to be nobodies if we scheme them the right way, like that is where I see a lot of potential in our defensive secondary, especially under this coaching staff. So none of them really stand out though positively, besides Bryce Hall, who's obviously not in that class. But
but Bryce Hall leads the defense in snaps, so got some young guys playing quality time there.
I was a huge fan of Bryce Hall when he was at Virginia, and he faced a couple of injuries that set him back quite a bit, but it seems like he's getting healthy, his feet underneath him, and he's doing really well. My question is, if the draft was tomorrow, what position would you want to focus on?
We're going to get one of Hutchinson or Thibodeau. I'm pretty confident about that, especially with the Texans probably going to quarterback or someone going for a quarterback early. The Jags don't need a quarterback, they need offensive line. So I think I'm pretty confident we're going to get one of those. I'm very happy with that. Edge rusher would be huge. I think we definitely need that a little bit. Quinn Williams is actually really good this year, but it's going to be good to have another guy next to him. Sheldon Rankins hasn't been great. But other than that, I feel like I want another receiver, but I don't know if we need to high pick on Olave or someone like that. I don't think that's necessary. I would say offensive line also. I think we still need to patch up the right side, right tackle probably. So
check that quarterback.
Yeah, exactly. And we see Zach all the time who struggles not under pressure because he escapes pressure really well, but in the pocket under pressure, it's very frustrating to watch him because a guy you guys were saying before from BYU and more of a raw prospect who doesn't have that NFL experience in that pressure, he needs that time more than anybody else. So we really need to do that.
I just feel like every solid play that I saw him play at BYU. It just was a rollout, big time play. He roll out to the right, throw to the left. It was awesome. That was great. But you're doing that in college, not against the best competition. And I want to see you do it more, in the pros. This is the best thing for him though. It's obviously getting a lot of time. And but yeah, man, you obviously need to protect your prospects. But knowing Salah, he needs, if he gets a Hutchinson or a Thibodeau, that's the best thing for that defense. Yeah,
we should be able to get one
for sure.
I think I would say
Thibodeau, man, because if Lions got the top choice, I'd like to. They want to keep that guy. They want to keep Hutchinson.
I think Hutchinson's proven more. That's a good point, though. I actually didn't think about that. Keeping him home like that. Yeah. I think Hutchinson's proved more in college. I think Thibodeau is he's definitely leaner and slimmer and quicker. He's more of that he's not raw at all, but he's just you just take that talent no matter what, whether he had a good game or not, bad game. And Hutchinson's the guy almost when Bosa was coming out, just take him. It's that simple. Just take him.
He's right there. Just take him.
Right.
Yeah. Anything else for players, G?
Nothing else. I mean, who on the team right now who you feel is underrated that needs a little bit more love?
I don't want to say Braxton Berrios. I say it all the time. My brothers, they hate me for it. But he is number 1 in the league in kick returner and number 2 in punt returner. Yeah, exactly. He doesn't. This is the tiniest thing. I used to joke about it, but now it's serious. He doesn't drop punts ever, which is one of my biggest pet peeves of players. So the fact that he can do that and be a kick returner, and he scored a couple touchdowns this year. He breaks open some plays. Underrated, I guess, undervalued maybe, but he's never going to be a very, very meaningful receiver.
Yeah.
I would say him probably, I guess, because a lot of the other guys, I'm going through every position in my head real fast.
What about Ryan Griffin? That name came to mind. I just feel like he's good. He just needs a little bit.
He'll be off the team in a couple of years probably. When his contract's up, he'll be done. He's not been great. We definitely need a tight end. I'd actually thinking about that now. Yeah. I would love for us to draft a tight end high, not first round. Obviously, there aren't any that are Kyle Pitts-esque. But I would love to draft a tight end in the first 2 or 3 rounds, one that could start and get starting reps right away. That'd be cool.
There you go. Yeah, that's good.
I got a question just about coaching. We know Saleh holds down the defensive side. We got Mike LaFleur, who G knows came over from the Niners as well, holding down the offense. How do you feel about these guys after year one? I know it's a little bit of a rough start. I think they need a little bit more time to develop, but how do you feel about year one?
Yeah. I think it's like a 30-70 good bad split so far, like growing pains for everyone. Obviously, every player on the team. We have so many, like you said, named off so many rookies that we start, so many second and third year guys on offense and the coaching staff too. I think Saleh on defense, I think there's been a lot of pros and I see a lot of potential in the team and how he schemes it up. I think, like you said, adding that talent, adding someone on the edge, adding good talent will do wonders for them, and we'll be fine on defense. Offensively, I think we just need to have like quicker play sets and like walking down the field more, where I think they overthink things, I think. And LaFleur likes to be fancy sometimes. I know a lot of the option plays and a lot of West Coast style offense. And like, I think simplifying it for the staff is going to be important just as much as simplifying it for Wilson is going to be. I don't know. We haven't used options and RPOs a lot as much as I really want to. Especially when we're using 3 different running backs and 6 different receivers. But I think it's there. They're super young too, so they'll only grow. But I see potential is the short answer.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of good free agents out there. You guys have the money, you guys can spend it. I mean, that also, a lot of free agents like to go to winning teams as well, but like there's everyone
or get paid.
Yeah, you want to get paid.
Mm-hmm. So, well, young quarterback on a rookie deal. So that's promising. And coming up in the next, I think, you got to give this coaching staff at least time to pick all their draft picks. You guys got 2 first rounders this year, 2 second rounders this year. Looks like 6 in the top 100. So those will be another group of valuable players coming in to help out.
100%.
Yeah, I feel like the Oklahoma City Thunder, all those draft picks. It's crazy. God.
Don't blow it.
Yeah.
Right. If I could control it, I would try to do something. But
so when's Gary Vee gonna buy the team?
Yeah, I don't know. It's funny. I used to actually change it recently just because I had to fit other things in there. My bio for the last year used to be future owner of the New York Jets. And people would always comment and be like, "Oh, like you're trying to take Gary Vee's job." I'm like, hell no, he's trying to take my job. Like,
there you go.
Eventually I think he will try at some point. I don't know how much money he has. I have no idea what his net worth is. It's probably getting up there.
100%.
But he's got to be in the billions to be even remotely close to buying this team.
Yeah.
So
if not,
will it ever happen? How much is he worth?
I said if not, he might need billions, but right now it says 160 million. I don't think that's enough.
He's got a good 10, 15 years till he even sniffs that team. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think he ever will, to be honest, but I think he'll try at some point and fail. That's okay.
Yeah.
Yep. That's it for me, G.
Yeah, that's it for me as well. Ryan, go ahead and let everybody know where they can find you again. Shout yourself.
Yeah, Instagram and TikTok at Ryan Hammer 9, and Twitter is at Ryan Hammer 09. All types of content, all types of fun. Always hit me up. I always answer all my messages. DMs are open, so I like to connect with everybody.
Yeah, man, for sure. Well, go and follow us on Twitter at Why We're Fans Pod, on YouTube at Why We're Fans. Duran, anything else?
That's it, man.
Yeah, that's it for me. Ryan, thanks again for joining in on our podcast. We appreciate it so much. Can you give us a JTS Jets chant?
I guess so. JETS Jets.
Let's go.
There you go. I appreciate y'all. Thanks for having me.
All right, bro. Enjoy the season
and
more importantly, the draft coming up.
And y'all enjoy the playoffs.
Yeah. Hope so, man.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Later.
See ya.